Hello and welcome to,
Hey, we like your pod.
and we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined, as always, by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, and our very special guest this week, the Justis Mosqueda. Justice, it's so nice to meet you. I was like thinking in my head when you were a little kid, did your little friends call you mosquito
Oh, all the time.
all the
Of
time,
course.
right?
All the time. All the time.
For the longest time, I thought your name was Mosquito. So
Yeah,
if I
that'll
say,
happen.
hopefully I won't say your last name tonight. But anyway, hi, Iowa Joe. Yes, sorry. Well, hey, we have had some things going on. We've got Dodgers and Phillies. I think the game might have ended. Somebody can let me know the score in the comments. We've got the Brewers going on. We've got the Eagles and the Giants. And the Giants are the Giants going to upset the Eagles? This is a crazy
Maybe.
night for
Hopefully.
sports. Yeah, yeah, that would be
It'd be great.
fun. All right, guys. So, hey, Justice, we've been just dying to chat with you, and this is like a perfect time to chat with you with all this special teams things going on with the Packers and on the fan bases and an uproar. But we want to talk to you also, maybe to start out more just about you because we love what you do. And we love talking about what you do because you really help make us better fans. So, with that, we want to talk maybe let's get started on your Packers origin story. Are you from Wisconsin? Is that why you're a Packers fan?
No, I'm from rural Oregon. I live in Portland right now, so I'm,
Oh,
in the middle
nice.
of a war zone.
Oh,
But no, uh my origin story is so my grandmother on my mom's side is a Denver Broncos fan. And my dad thought it'd be really funny if, while she came and visited us during the Super Bowl when the Packers played the Broncos, that he got me a Brett Favre jersey to troll her. And I just kind of stuck with it. Like, the Seahawks really weren't great when I was a kid. Obviously, they had like the Super Bowl run when Holmgren was there and stuff like that. But that was more like when I was in middle school. And by that point, I had already chosen a team. Favre
yeah.
got the Packers on national television all the time. So, like, that was my guy. That was my team. I could watch them on Sundays. Why would I root for the Seahawks? We root against Seattle teams in every other instance other than football, and we're supposed to like them for some reason in football just because they're the
Got it.
closest. That never made sense to me. So, yeah, I'm a Packers fan. Otherwise, all my other teams are up here in Oregon. I'm a Blazers fan. I'm a Ducks fan. All that stuff.
Cool.
We always love to see how fandom is passed down through family and stuff like that. And like as far away from Wisconsin as possible, the better. Love when that happens.
I love your
Yeah, I
dad.
mean, there's got to be people overseas at this point, right? So there's plenty
Oh,
of
yes,
Packers fans everywhere.
Yeah, like Tex
that's right.
Western did the joint show with the Crow Pack Crow guys when he was in Croatia recently. So like, yeah, we're talking all over the planet. There was that those guys in Japan in that movie that's going to come out. What's it called? No Packers, No Life, right? Is coming out. So
Yes,
all over the
Really?
planet.
yes, it's
I haven't seen
fantastic.
that. That's funny.
Yeah, no Packers, no life, and it's how what's this? It's a documentary, and it's a story of a Japanese. How did that work? I forgot the
Yeah, it's
storyline.
like
Do
a
you remember?
Japanese Green Bay fan group, basically.
Yeah.
And they reached out to somebody in Green Bay who eventually kind of hosted them when they came over for a game. And so it's all about like their fandom in Japan and then the trip to Wisconsin, I think, is a big part of it. And how they talk about the people in Wisconsin being extremely welcoming and friendly, which, no surprise there, of course. I've only like watched the trailer a couple times now. I'm actually want to see it when it's released. I don't know if it has been or not yet, actually, but it looks really fun.
Yeah, I think it's coming out pretty quick. The other reason I said I love your dad, Justice, is I heard you on another show, and I can't remember when this was, but you said that somebody asked you about your name, Justice. And I was actually going to ask you that. And then I remembered this podcast that you were on, and you mentioned that your dad named you Justice because he thought it would be a cool football player name. Is that how it goes? Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, my dad should have made better decisions than marrying my mother, who was 5'2". He should have done the math there and figured out, oh, wait, split the difference. This kid's going to be 5'8". No chance. So, yeah, that's what I've been told, at least. Maybe the story is different, but that's what I've been told.
That's adorable. I love your dad already. And your Twitter, we like to start with our guests. We like to read what we used to call the Twitto, but I'm calling it the guest blue sky bio because Twitto is history to me. So Justis Mosqueda, your profile picture, a Chihuahua smoking something, right? Is that what it is?
It is. And I don't know where it is from. And I think the person who actually initially took the photo hit me up once and was like, how do you have this picture of my dog? I lost it. Do you have the better quality version of it?
What? Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't, but I appreciate that you took the photo. I like the smoking dog. Yeah, that was funny.
Was he really smoking? I thought it was just Photoshopped.
I don't think so. I think it just has a cigarette in its mouth. I don't think that the cigarette is lit. I think the dog just got into someone's carton or something. So.
Oh gosh.
It was like somebody just like put it up to the dog's face or something. They took the picture. That's kind of what I imagined the story was. But yeah.
Oh. Children, do not try this at home, please. Yeah. All right. So it's at JUMOSQ. So JUMOSQ, which is kind of cool. JUMOSQ. Bluesky.social. Pro Bowl long napper. Love that. Super cute. I never read this until today. Don't let your children grow up to be refs. Please don't. I agree. I own the Green Bay Packers and they own the Chicago Bears. So you obviously have a wicked sense of humor. So that's the story of the dog. You really don't know who this dog is, but you have a cute face. We like your face. You could use your face too. So I grabbed a picture. I grabbed a screenshot from one of your shows with, I think she's had TV the other day and got your picture for the YouTube. So I hope you don't mind that. So anywho, okay, here's another one before we get into football, because we like to get to know you a little bit better. I'm always curious about name origins. So is Mosqueda Italian, Spanish, or something else?
It's Spanish. I assume that it's history lesson here, right? The Moors took over Spain at some point, right? There's a lot of crossover between Arabic and Spanish, like pillows, like almohada, right? Like it sounds very like Arabic and stuff like that. So I assume the mosque part probably comes from the Moors taking over in Spain. And then I don't know if you've heard of this. The Spanish went into Mexico, and that's how I ended up getting my last name. Before my family moved up here to the United States and stuff. So yeah, it's Spanish. My dad's full Mexican. My mom's white. That's kind of how this thing worked out. Middle name is Andrew. Grew up Catholic, obviously, Mexicans, we got a high hit rate for Catholicism. It's got to be like 95% at this point. Right. So that was my patron saint when I did confirmation and communion or first confirmation and all that stuff. So yeah, that's how it worked out for me.
Yeah, definitely. Like a name like Mosqueda, you see the mosque part. It does kind of like invoke the Moors, for example. But Dawn, your name Dacquisto, of course, always
it's very similar.
Yeah, it's very similar, right? So, do you know the backstory of your name, actually, Dawn? Do you have any clue about that, or?
I do. I can't remember anymore, and mine is Italian, but I'm not Italian. It was my husband's name, so that's why I asked. But I also thought it could be Portuguese because usually names that end with the vowel are Italian, and occasionally they're not as many of the Spanish, but often Portuguese as well. And with the QU, I thought maybe you're Italian. I don't know. So yeah,
it's a tricky one.
I forgot what Quist is because it's of da I'll look it up again. I've
There you go. Yeah.
forgotten. I've forgotten. It's not important to me, so because it's not really my name, even though I use it. So, all right. So I just called you Mosqueda. I think I just called you Mosquedo, not Mosquito. I'm so sorry because I just realized I said that when I was.
You're
All
good.
right.
I've heard it all. I
Yeah, I'm
haven't heard
sure.
of Justin yet, so we're at least 1 for 2 on the names so far.
Okay, so at Acme Packing Company, you're the team community producer. So your bio says Justice is the community producer at APC and joined the team in 2021. His topics of intrigue include the NFL draft, scheme analysis, analytics, and the salary cap. That's right, he's an absolute nerd. Um, what is a team community producer? What is that?
So the way it worked out, Tex was running APC before I came along, and they wanted to hire a full timer. I don't want to put out Tex's business, but they offered him that opportunity, and he was like, "No, I don't want to work full time. I just want to do this on the side for fun."
Okay.
And yeah, I took it. So I got Texas sloppy seconds, I guess. And they hired me full time in 2021. Previously, I'd worked at like Bleacher Report and stuff like that. My last gig before I took this job, I was actually the number 2 in the scouting department for the XFL for the 2020 season. But then obviously everyone gets laid off during COVID because you can't have games, and it's kind of hard to keep a league going when no one's paying for tickets and stuff like that. So all that stuff happened, and then I went back to media, basically, is kind of how it ended up working out. So I work with Tex and all those guys day to day, just make sure we get stuff up on the site, and hopefully you guys click and read.
We do.
We sure do.
We do.
Quite a lot, actually. Justice, I find it interesting when people talk about their story kind of backwards, which you started to embark on there. So I'm very curious about like just how you got to where you are and how you got to the XFL. And like, I'm just gonna say it. I'm always so impressed with all like the cool people that like you'll mention like, oh yeah, so I was like texting with Mina and Robert and Nate Tice. It's just like what? So you keep working backwards. Like, how did you get to working for the XFL? Like, what was your journey to get there?
Okay, so if we want to go all the way back, right? There used to be these things called forums, right? So like Football's Future is where I used to post when I was in like probably late middle school through like high school and stuff like that. Wow. Then Twitter kind of takes up. So I graduated 2012. So Twitter really starts to take off. Like while I'm in high school, I'm seeing people do all this analysis and stuff like that. I had like my own like blog spot thing that I just like posted just like random things into there. People started to like it. It started getting a little bit of traction. And then shout out to Ian Kenyon. I don't know where he's working right now. He moved on from Bleacher Report, but he used to be basically the NFL editor at Bleacher Report. He was a Packers fan. He had followed all my stuff. What happened one year, I think it was the 2013 draft. Yeah, because I still would have been in school. So this would have been my freshman year at college. He hit me up and was like, hey, our Packers guy, because they used to have, 32 guys covering, one guy covering each team and stuff like that. He's like, our Packers guy is sick. And I know that you do draft stuff. It's a pretty quick turnaround, but like, if you want to like cover the draft for us this week, I'd appreciate it. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. And then, picked up random stuff with Bleacher Report off and on and other places while I was like freelancing and going to school and stuff like that. Writing has always been like pretty natural to me. My pops used to write for like rock and roll magazines and stuff like that when I was growing up. So like I'd see him like sneaking out into the bedroom and like, close the door and lock it so that he could do a phone call and, tape it and all that stuff with whoever he was talking to. So like I'd always kind of like been around, like he wasn't, he's a counselor for, his full-time job and stuff like that. But he always did that stuff for fun, get free CDs and stuff like that when that used to matter. Go to concerts. I used to go to a bunch of concerts and stuff with him. So I just kind of like got in early, I guess, on like Twitter, and no one really cared that I was only like 18 at the time or whatever.
Didn't know probably.
Yeah. So like I did it that way. met a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people who are like on the early Twitter stuff that are like scouts on NFL teams and scouts, at the college level and things like that. I thought about going that route for a little bit. I realized kind of like what the hours were and all that stuff.
Mm.
Didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I also like, and I have like older family that are here too. So like not moving away is a pretty big deal for me. And as I
Mm.
talked to my girlfriend, who now we've been dating for like 10 years now, once the XFL went away, she's like, okay, what's kind of the next move thing? And she's like, do you want to go try to be like a QC at the NFL level or some quality control coach at like the NFL level and help them out and do like stuff like that? I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Like you get to pick where you go one time, but in 3 years, we're going to have to move it. Like, is that something that you kind of want to do and stuff like that? So, I make a decent living and I don't really spend too much. Like this is what I do for fun is watch football. So it's not very costly to me. So I don't have a whole lot of needs. So this is just I'm cool with what we're doing right now. So that's kind of how I got here. As far as the XFL stuff, that really started with Eric Galco, who ran Optimum Scouting, still runs Optimum Scouting. He now is he runs the East West Shrine Bowl. We've known each other since like probably 2012, 2013, somewhere around then. And when this kind of opportunity popped up with XFL stuff, because I had done analytics stuff in the past, I had consulted with NFL teams before. I don't think they listened to me. Spoiler alert. They love to pay money for consultants that they just don't listen to at all. But like I had done some of that stuff for like analytics and the draft and things like that. So he knew that I had kind of had the chops for that. He had seen me work when we were doing scouting reports and stuff like that really early on in my career. And he was just kind of like, yo, let's, if we end up getting this job and we get to run the personnel department for a full league, is that something you would be interested in? And I was like, sure, why not? And that's where I met Sam Schwartzstein, who's calling Thursday Night Football that I'm watching right now for the alternate stream for Thursday Night Football. He was on the XFL and stuff like that too. So yeah, I was able to bump a whole lot of shoulders in that year. Really it was like 2 years of prep. Because you're dealing with agents, you're dealing with scouts, you're dealing with all these people who are involved that you're like, wait, what does a president of a football league even do? Right. And those people end up getting jobs and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of how it was for me.
It's an awesome story, and just the fact that it could have started from something as like organic as a blog, then to Twitter, and then beyond that, like I think that's really cool. I also love that you're able to like make a full-time job out of this, because a lot of people who are doing podcasts and writing and stuff like that and videos, it's like the side hustle at best, or just a hobby for them. So I think part of the best thing about that, as far as like a consumer goes, is that it, I think it affects positively the quality of the stuff that you put out through the website itself. Because it's an excellent website, and I'm on it every day, and a lot of people are, So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, and so the one of my questions, you sort of answered it, because your pathway to writing and analyzing football, you're excelling at that. We really think your work is great, and I think when people it sounds like you just kind of followed what you wanted to do. Your gut sounds like your dad was a great example of that. I love your dad, by the way. I haven't mentioned that. He sounds so fun. Now I want to know, like, was he like talking to, I don't know, Janice? No, he's not that old, but whatever. He was
a metal guy. He was a metal guy. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you seem happy doing it, and that is usually what makes people great, when they're doing what they love, and so there's a lesson out there to anybody who needs to find a career or change a career or whatever. I've always believed in that. And by the way, why not? Because if you're going to spend your life working, do something you want to do. Even if you, like you say, you don't spend a lot of money right now, so you're willing to not have the need for a lot of material things so that you can do what you love. Sometimes you have to sacrifice that, at least at first, and maybe for life. But it's more important to just do what you love than to have a bunch of things, don't you think?
I think so. Again, like
Yeah.
if you doubled my salary, I probably wouldn't spend another
No,
dollar more than I am right now, right? Like
that's
I like
interesting.
I'm still like maybe I'd go on like vacations instead of just like hanging out on the weekends or something like that. But
Right.
that's for the most part, like I will I'll still like spend like 30 hours watching film on in March to
Hmm.
watch draft prospects for fun. Like it's not that part's not going to change.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's funny you say
Very
that because
cool.
my parents definitely were like, "You need to go be an engineer or something. You're getting good
Oh,
math skills and all this stuff." And I was like, "No chance, dude. There's no way I can do that
yeah.
for like 40 years." So yeah, it's
Right.
never felt like work to me. Um,
Right.
it's something that not now, but like definitely when we were doing XFL stuff, it was like you could do 80, 90, 100-hour weeks for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Mm.
but even then,
Yeah.
it still didn't feel like work. I mean, my grandfather worked in like upholstery and stuff like that, so like I
Hmm.
did that when family business and stuff like that when we were growing up. And I think the last job I worked before working in sports, I was pressure washing manure off of farm equipment at a rental center that
Okay.
farmers would rent um
Uh,
farmers would rent equipment from us so that they didn't have to clean it. So yeah, that's what I was doing. So
oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
that's work. Like
Yeah.
this doesn't really feel like work to me. So
Yeah. I like that. I like
Better
that.
better line of work for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, who inspires you in your what you're doing now within your kind of, I don't know what to call it, field, I guess. I hate that word, but in your realm.
ooh, I mean anyone who's doing video stuff, honestly. Because I don't
Mm.
know anything about it. So yeah, whenever I'm on with like Andy or you guys or whoever I'm on with, I'm always like, huh, how does this work? Because I've always been written word guy, right? Like
Mhm.
APC used to have a
Right.
podcast where I work and stuff like that, but we never did anything video wise. So,
Mm.
like I get a lot of kids who ask me, and they're like, "Oh, if I want to like do sports stuff, like how do I kind of like get a foot in?" And I'm like, I wish I gave you great advice, but like, uh, try hard and like kind of get lucky, and if you actually want it, it'll kind of open up opportunities for you in some sort. You'll find a lane. I don't think that there's an easy way to do it, but I definitely think
Mhm.
I've thought about it before because like one of my buddies, his brother is at U of O at Oregon, and he's working with the team and their media department and stuff like that. And today I just sent a couple texts for him because I know guys who work for team media and stuff like that, and that's where he wants to intern and do stuff. Um, on his behalf, I did that, but I had like conversations with him when we were at a wedding a couple weeks ago, and he was asking like how do you start and stuff, and I'm like, I think now I wouldn't be going the like Twitter route and written word. I think I'd be like on TikTok and like YouTube and stuff. But those are things that I don't know how the heck anything works. So so yeah, anyone who's doing video is
Huh,
the people I appreciate right now.
that's
Well, I
very
think it
cool.
makes a lot of sense what you're saying because, like, when you were coming up, you were embracing the media that was
Hmm.
available, blogs and then
Mhm.
Twitter, versus people now need to be, yeah, like on top of TikTok and whatever else. I think that's really true.
Hmm.
You know how hard it used to be to get game clips in like
Right. Right.
2010? You'd have to go on like a Russian website, torrent
Oh
it,
yeah.
wait for hours while it was torrenting, and then you
Hmm.
get one game and then have to find it,
Yeah.
clip it up, and then so help you God you want to upload it to YouTube because nothing else was going to upload those videos for you at that
Mhm.
point.
Sure. Sure. It reminds me of back in the day when digital music audit, started coming out, and it was really hard to get it. We had this thing called Napster. Do you remember
yeah,
Nap?
I remember.
Yeah.
We
I
we
had
the
I had
single
older
Napster.
cousins. I had older cousins is how I knew Napster. I'm like, what do you
Yep.
mean you can get the Eminem CD right now?
Yep.
I was a big LimeWire guy myself. Big on the LimeWire for a number of
LimeWire is
years
another.
there. Yep.
Yep. That was another one. Yeah. It's crazy. I did like a 10-piece CD of my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. Sorry, I'm sidetracking, but all the music from when they were born to their 50th anniversary. So like a
Mm.
whole historical 10 CDs, all of it. I think I used either LimeWire or Napster because that was many years ago. Oh, it was a lot of work. Okay, well, that's really cool. Well, who do you, and if you ever want to have your own YouTube channel or whatever, just hit me up because I can walk you through some of it. It's not that hard. It's true because like even podcasts now are going video, like everybody's doing their podcast as a video because people want to see people.
Yeah, or you get the clips and you get them in like the YouTube Shorts or the
Yep.
TikToks or however you want to cut
Mm-hmm.
them up and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
different world
Yep.
than I'm used to living in.
Right. You may not want to, but I was thinking about that because I was like, he's on a lot of shows. I wonder if he's going to get his own channel ever. Thought about that. So who besides your wonderful self do you recommend the Packers fans listen to, especially right now, when they're mad about things and, expecting to be 4-0 when we're 2-1? Who's the voice of reason?
So I actually don't consume a whole lot of like video or podcasts on the Packers. So like I listen to John Meerdink on Blue 58. I listen to the Frozen Tundra Frequencies guys because those guys they all work at APC as writers, right? So like they're my buddies. So I listen to them. I don't really tune into. I tell Andy that I can't tune into him because I don't want to go in and then know all his takes and we know where each other stand and all that stuff. But definitely go check out Andy Herman. Honestly, I read more than anything. I think Silverstein is good on the beat. I think Wildy is really good when he does like profiles and stuff like that on players and things like that. Bill Huber is really good. So like I think probably the people I read the most outside of APC, where I'm reading through every article and publishing it and all that stuff for everyone, are probably those three guys. So I think if I'm looking at the beat, those are the guys that I glean info from the most.
That's such a good selection too, because you have like Spoon's like deep history and historical knowledge is always really fun to like read and the way he brings it into it versus like Bill Huber is just so like grounded and like fair and balanced in a way that actually is what it's supposed to mean, I think compare with like Jason Wilde, obviously a bit more long-winded in the way he asks questions, the way he writes his stuff, but like that's a good thing for like those like in-depth profiles.
It is good.
Yeah. So that's a good like trio of writers to be checking out on a regular basis for sure.
I have a superlative. Tom Silverstein made my superlative list this week. Most special, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I did a little bit of like looking into special teams being how dangerous it was, and I kind of was going to ask you how much more dangerous you think playing on special teams is than any given. Obviously, not the kicker, the punter, and the three people, the snapper, who are designated special teams, because we're not going to get designated we're not going to have one person just do special teams other than those three positions, I don't think, unless the league would be willing to open up the 53-man roster and let teams have like two. No, they're not going to do it. Right.
Owners do not want that.
Right. Exactly. So I was kind of wondering what your take on was, how much more dangerous you think that it is in reality.
I definitely think the change in the kickoff rule definitely decreases the danger. I mean, the kickoff, especially before they banned the wedge, which you used to be able to basically like link arms with guys and just like run down the field and create a wall and just run at each
Wow.
other with a 40-yard head start. That was definitely the most dangerous stuff. Like in high school, I played wedge buster, which is like the furthest inside guy on the kickoff team. And that's traditionally like thought to be like the most dangerous spot on special teams because you're just you're basically supposed to break up that wall of guys who have their arms linked up and stuff, right? So getting that out of the game I think helps for sure. I don't think that it's that crazy now. I mean, they basically turned kickoff into a run play is kind of the way that I see it, and we use the same kickoff rules in the XFL. Sam was actually the guy who started the dynamic kickoff. Punt team, I don't think it's that physical, but you definitely, if the punter doesn't know, or if the punt returner doesn't know where his teammates are or where the defenders are, because he's looking up for the ball and he's catching the ball, and then his eyes snap down, and it's a different thing than he pictured in his mind. That can be very scary. But outside of that, I don't think special teams is any more dangerous than offense or defense now. Now that's because of the kickoff change and all that stuff.
Right.
Before, definitely would have said 100%. Yeah, like kickoff was the play where guys were getting hurt all the time.
Okay.
So with how the dynamic kickoff has kind of been evolving within the NFL, like what are your thoughts on it at this point? Do you like it? Do you think it's a good evolution? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good. I think things are going to change with it. Teams are still trying to figure that stuff out. I mean, you're getting into this situation where we're seeing real value in kickers who can do the dirty ball kicks and stuff like that. I know, the game that I'm watching right now, Thursday Night Football, the opening kickoff ended up the ball fell short of the landing zone, right? It ends up being a penalty to start the game. You basically get penalized if you kick too far or if you kick too short. So there's going to be real value if you can hit that sweet spot between the 20 and the goal line. I don't think that's bad for the sport. It's going to be interesting to see how teams value. Like if you have a kicker who's really good at field goals, but can't do the dirty ball, right? Or if the guy who can nail the dirty ball every single time, but he's like an okay field goal kicker, like how do you value those two things if both of them are available, right? It's going to be an interesting thing to see how that evolves. And then I think on the 53-man roster, things are going to get a little different too. I think you're going to get a lot fewer like pass catching tight ends. I think a lot of teams are going to lean into guys who can help them on special teams as those backup tight end roles and stuff, guys who can help in kickoff return, guys who can help in punt protection. We saw a lot of guys like I'm spacing on his name, the kid out of UCLA. His name's not important. And then Josh Wiley, who the Packers actually picked up on the practice squad. They were guys who were, mid-round draft picks who are going into like years 2 and 3, and NFL teams are just like, yeah, the climate has just kind of changed right now. Like we can't, how much time are we going to spend on developing a pass catching second, third tight end when we need a blocker who can contribute for us on kick return and on punt team? And you can help us on offense. How often are you even throwing to that second or third tight end? Most of the time you're going to be here blocking anyway. Let's just use a roster spot for that. So I think you're going to get changes there. I don't think you're going to get changes on the kickoff. Like you're always going to have the amount of defenders that you need to be able to run and chase and stuff like that. It's just going to change how many blockers you kind of want, because it's a little bit of a different game when everyone's lined up 5 yards away from or 10 yards away from each other and you got to block them one-on-one than the old kickoff where, you could have offensive linemen on that front line, right? And their whole job is like, hey, we're just trying to pick you off before you can even get into our little wall that we're trying to build in the back. Now offensive linemen aren't playing on kickoff return. So, inherently you're going to need those tight end bodies.
Yeah, that's a good point. So of course, now that we were talking about special teams, now that we've opened the can, right? Of course, in the last couple of weeks, Justice, you've been here, there, and everywhere talking about your insights on special teams, which have been, I think, really vital to the conversation. And so I'm curious, because you put stuff out there, people rebut. You put more stuff out there, other people, other things to say, like in reply. So at this point, after 2 weeks of all of that talk and all of that writing and all of that, where are you at this point with what the Packers would have to do to make the special teams great again?
Play the players.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, that's. But do you think that's that's the core thing at this point?
Yeah. If you hear what Matt and Rich are saying in press conferences and stuff, like Matt has never said anything other than the field goal block against the Cowboys specifically was a personnel issue that they ended up fixing, which is true. They ended up benching Brent Banks and bringing in Elton Jenkins because it was a bad idea to have your 13th offensive lineman in the pecking order be out there on field goal block or field goal protection. Honestly, special teams is so weird because it's actually 6 units. So when they're like special teams is bad, it's actually like a couple of things. I don't think the blockers, I don't think are an issue. The coverage, I don't think is an issue. I know we let Turpin squirt one on the sideline and stuff like that against the Cowboys, but over you can look at it like a per game average, starting field position, all that stuff. Like the Packers aren't actually bad on when they're having to cover kicks and stuff. I think the big issue was just the offensive line was banged up, and they still decided to have Elton Jenkins sit on the bench and give the developmental rep to the 13th offensive lineman, who is no longer on the team. So what did we do? Did we get our juice out of that development? I don't think so. And that led to a block, and they changed the personnel. And then the other one is punt returner and kick returner, where I think it's pretty obvious Keyshawn is a better option there, but they really want to make Savion and Matthew Golden develop into those spots, but we're seeing the development in real time. They didn't get a single rep at those positions when we were live in the preseason. And, if you listen to Rich and Matt, like Keyshawn is working on kicks and punts, punt returns every week, but they're not giving them the opportunity because they really want Golden and Xavier Williams to develop into one of those guys. And it's like, okay, but Keyshawn was an all-pro. So I understand that, but we could fix a whole lot of our issues. Like I think it's Matthew Golden. I think he's been kicked like 13 balls and he's caught 5 in the air as a punt returner. Xavier Williams is the first player against the Cowboys, or the first player in NFL history to kneel out those 20-yard touchbacks, 3 of them in a single game with the new dynamic kickoff rules. So yeah, dude, things are bad at returner and we're sitting in an all-pro. And that's the issue is play the players. I just watched Richard Sherman on the halftime of this TNF game. Him and Earl Thomas, when they were all pros for Seattle going on the Super Bowl run, they were playing punt gunner and punt jammers for them on special teams. So like Rich was like, I think today he said in a press conference was like, it's not about not having a guy or having a guy available on special teams, which I believe is true. I don't think he's lying about that, but it's more about like how many snaps can they hold up, and like, okay, fair, but our returners are really bad, and Keyshawn is an all-pro there, and I've seen a guy like Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas play all of the defensive snaps, and then also come back and play on special teams in key situations and stuff. So don't tell me it can't happen.
We have a point here. Maybe it's a counterpoint from our friend Iowa Joe says Savion is a good returner. It's coaching that isn't preparing him for the kicks that are hitting in the kick zone. What do you think of that?
I don't know. Matt said that he should have returned those things, right? And he kneeled them out all 3 times. So I don't know. Game situations are just different than practice situations. Yeah. And you're not going live in practice. It's not going to happen at the NFL level. You get one padded practice a week. It's not like you're going hits live the entire time, that one practice.
Mhm.
So I've made this point a couple times, but like a lot of like special teams prep is what it looks like we're doing right now, which is sitting on our butts talking about it. And
Right.
and then you roll out on Sundays and you're like, I hope you retain that information because you're not getting those opportunities throughout the week. They're not
Muscle
the
memory.
CBA
Right.
the CBA has really limited how much time you get on the field.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Teams are just not going to allocate that to special teams. So that's where we're at. And when you're a draft and develop team that is constantly churning the back end of your roster, and it's always young guys and not cheaper older vets who have played teams and stuff like that. The obvious exception is probably Nick Nyman. But outside of him, if you're developing guys for offense and defense, you're also doing that for special teams. But the only reps that they're getting is actually in these games. So if you didn't play them a lot in the preseason, like we didn't have Golden and Williams take a single snap at the returner positions in the preseason, then the development is what we're going to see on game days. And there's no promise that it turns right. So
right.
That is frustrating.
I was thinking too that I think it's since 2022 that a lot of these things changed because that's when the NFL was like, well, there was a whole rash of special teams serious injuries that year, and they did make some changes. So, but I was thinking since then, so that's what, 4 seasons ago, coaches are getting smarter and smarter. The good coaches are getting savvier and savvier on like blocking the field goals and things like that, right? Because it's happening a lot. I mean, they must be, especially this season. It's glaring.
Well, some of the arguments that I've seen are like teams are spending so much time on the kick return, and it's really the kick return. It's not covering the kick, but on the kick return, that's cutting into special teams periods. And if that's cutting into special teams periods, then you're not spending the time on field goal protection and stuff like that.
Exactly. And so, okay, so if that's the case, at least be the team that's blocking field goals. Okay. I mean, because that, right? Because at least a third of them are doing it in really important times during really important games. But the Packers aren't even doing that. And so I kind of understand.
I think they're spending a lot of time on kick return blocking that is getting need in the end zone. Is what this ultimately boils down to. They're pretty good in terms of just the pure like blocking and tackling of the punt game and the kick return game. They're doing pretty well in those aspects. It's the field goal protection again, because I think the personnel has not been valued. And then the return game, which at least in part has to do with the returners just having no experience. Cause like Matthew Golden never did it in college. Right. Savion Williams did it his true freshman year at TCU way back in 2020. People were still wearing masks. Right. If you want to put it in perspective, that's the last time he had a kick return. So they have very green returners right now, and they're choosing to give them developmental reps in regular season games instead of using them in all pro. And maybe it pans out for them down the line and all that stuff. But me personally, I'd like to see a punt caught in the air every once in a while. I don't like that thing bouncing on the ground.
Meanwhile, I still can't believe this. The New York Giants are 27 to the Eagles 17. And they have the ball again. I don't think the Eagles have scored in the second half. This is wild. This is just
but Russell Wilson is in the game at quarterback now.
Right. Jackson Dart is panning out. I'm liking him. He's wild. And who is it, the other guy that's young that's just kind of like thrown himself all over I don't think he should do that. He's going to get injured and not be able to play, but he's
talking Scatterboo, the running back.
Oh, I love Scatterboo.
His touchdown was nuts. He's just running over people. He's an insane person. His body's gonna break down at like 25, but he's an insane person.
Right. But he's not the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback
No.
needs not to do that kind of stuff too. But yes, for sure. I'm liking them both. So okay, well let's Maddie, did you bring any questions? Oh, I we have some favorite questions that we like to ask all of our guests. But before we do that, Maddie, did you bring any questions that you wanted to add before we get to our two favorites?
No, I actually had them out as we were going. So the ones that I was
Oh,
wanting to ask, I had a chance to ask, which is good. So
awesome. I feel like I was dominating the questions, but all right. So, Justice, my favorite question to ask is who in your life can we thank for supporting you so you can do what you do for us in the football community? Because I know you spend a lot of time.
Yeah, my grandparents for sure. Like I wouldn't be here without my grandparents at all. So yeah, like just the best people in the world. Grandpa passed away a couple of years ago, so you guys don't get a chance to meet him. But if you ever see old Mexican lady named Maria walking around Hood River, Oregon, go say hi to her.
I will.
I love that. Little Mexican grandma in Portland.
Yeah.
How is Portland? I saw some fun. I have friends in Portland. I saw some great videos.
What's going on?
No, I saw some great videos. People wearing like balloon costumes and just making fun of the whole situation.
That is genuinely what is happening. Okay, here is the ice building is in the far corner of the city, barely in city limits, next to like 4 interstate changes wedged between the water. So like there's no reason to be out there ever except for this, where they're like, we're gonna send in troops, and then people are like, okay, we're gonna have a dance party with inflatable animal costumes outside of it and make fun of you because there's no Antifa takeover of Portland, Oregon.
I love it. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I don't like that it has to be happening, but I do like the response. I do. Okay. Grandmother Maria, we love you. We love your dad too. I do anyway. Just because of a couple of quips that you had about him. And then our final question is about our beloved NFL and Packer online community. Twitter, I know is your home. One thing you love the most about Packers Twitter, and one thing you would change if you had the power to do so.
Oh man, they make me laugh all the time. Like the overreactions make me laugh. A lot of good memes, a lot of good videos. Things I would change. I don't know. Did you guys see Monty's tweet? Do you guys see Monty's tweet about an easy way to get 85 grams of protein in a snack? No. He had a can of tuna and then like a high protein milk that he posted.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I was like, eating protein is easy. And I'm like, you blow up a toilet. I know you blow up a toilet. That is horrendous, dude. A can of tuna and then like a jug of high protein milk. So I'd like to get Monty's tweet taken down. That Packers Twitter is mostly good.
I love it.
One of the things that
mostly good.
As I say, Don and I love that question as our last question because everybody gives us a different answer, and I don't even know how many people we've had on the show at this point, Don. Like just a ton. The fact, Justice, that we only just here getting to you is actually kind of criminal. We should have asked you like years ago, but suffice to say, it's never the same answer on this, and I love that. Never. That was a great answer. Yeah, it makes you laugh. I love that.
It does.
Yeah, that's what I'm on Twitter to laugh. That's what I got on there for in 2012, and once it stops making me laugh, or they mess up the what is the tab? I got the following tab. Do not go in the For You tab. If the following tab ever stops making me laugh, I'm out of there.
Right. Good. I love that too. Yeah. And by the way, I don't know why, and maybe you can do it, Matt, but usually I can take this overlay off of the screen, but I'm sorry that thing is going across your face. That's why I was trying to change. But I'm sorry. I don't want to distract everybody with that. Okay. So, well, I guess what that means is, whoops, sorry. It's time for this week's Superlatives.
See, there it is, Justice. There's video right, right there for you.
It would take me 20 months to figure out how to do that. So
Makes me laugh.
Oh, I can help you out. I can help you out. Okay, Maddie, why don't you get us started with your first superlative? I have two.
Yeah. So just quick to check here, Justice. You're cool sticking around while we do this and contributing as we're talking through our favorite things from this week?
I don't have anything to contribute. I come to you guys empty-handed. So
That's
I actually
right.
might
because you can at least
I might go eat some food, honestly. Catch the
All right.
There you go. Yeah. If you need
7:30.
food and
that sounds good.
and if you need protein, get that can of tuna and that high protein. Actually, I don't recommend
tuna high protein milk. Shout out to
Is
Monty.
he saying to eat 85 grams at once? Because that would knock me out.
Yeah.
I had 45 grams of protein once, and I kind of was in a coma for about an hour. It's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't need to take down that much protein. I just need something in my belly before I pass out. So
Yeah,
that's,
couple
There you go.
pretzels.
that's where I'm
Then,
at.
All right.
Justice,
Okay.
thanks again,
thanks for
man.
having me on, folks.
Yeah, we've been, consuming your stuff, every week, and we talk about you a lot on the show. We really appreciate the hard work you put in, the intelligence, the analysis you bring to stuff, and just the fact that you've helped to, make APC such a vibrant site with such great contributors. Like, can't thank you enough, man. And thanks for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you guys need me, I'll be here. Hit me up.
Right on,
We
man.
will. All right. Take care. Have a good night. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Oh, sorry. Do you need me to? Sorry. Oh, he knows. Okay.
Yeah.
He knows.
All right. Oh, wasn't that great? Justice is
Oh,
awesome.
I
That was
love
amazing.
Justice. Yes. And I'm so glad because the special teams conversation is still top of mind for a lot of people. And it probably will be until we start playing and they can, obsess about something else.
Well, that's part of it too, right, Don? Until we start playing, like having the bye week, and after the first 4 weeks had a weird disjointed feeling because it wasn't like play a game, wait a week, play a game, wait a week. It was like play a game 4 days later, and then like this weird the mini bye they have right away, and then we come back and it's that terrible Browns game, and so we're like, okay, we need some to kind of wipe that stink off of us, and then the Cowboys game halfway did. And then we're left obsessing over all the little details from those last two games. And so, everyone's talking about special teams, partially because we've had great, analysis and contributions on it from people like Justice, especially Justice Lee. He's really shined these last couple of weeks.
He has.
But, suffice to say, we're obsessing over these things because we don't have a game to watch. And so if we take care of the Bengals this weekend, like I believe we will. And Don, I'm going to be there for the game, by the way. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you. When do you leave?
I'm going to be leaving. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. I'm going to go up to Chicago to see my sister. Then I'll drive up to Madison on Saturday to have dinner with my mom and her husband. Stay overnight at my dad's house, and then we're going to wake up early on Sunday and drive up to Lambeau. Actually, up to Menasha to be more technical, because that's where cousin Brad, who you may remember,
cousin Brad,
he lives in. Shout out Brad in Menasha, or maybe Nina. It's one of the little towns next to Appleton area, the Fox River Valley, and then he's gonna drive us up to the game. So just beyond stoked to have a fourth year in a row that I get to go up to Lambeau for a game.
That's great. Is your dad going too?
Yeah. So I'll be sitting with him, the same seats that you and I sat in when we saw the game against the Saints a couple seasons ago.
That's right.
That was a good time.
That's right.
That was
give my love to Brad, and for sure. And I'll be looking for you at the game for sure. I was having this I was having this conversation with a friend out here, and because the Dodgers and I don't know if the Dodgers won or the Phillies won, by the way. I don't know. If anybody knows in the comments, let me know. I don't care that much. But anyway, the Dodgers fans, because the Dodgers were not winning, were leaving. I hate when fans do that, when they leave early, and then everybody's like, well, it's LA traffic. And it's like, come on, every every stadium takes an hour to empty out. Nobody lives near the stadium. You
Right.
usually do drive a couple of hours. You don't have to leave. I mean, you're not going to leave early if the Packers are losing, are you?
I
You
wouldn't leave
stay
early
till
no
the
matter what.
end.
Yeah, you stay till the end. Like, you paid a lot of good money to be there. Even when the Packers played the Bengals in preseason, I want to say 2 or 3 seasons ago,
Mhm.
you know, by the end of a preseason game, it's like you're in the 5th string dudes out there. And I was with my father-in-law for that game. It was here, you know, and he's a Bengals fan.
Right. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and near the end of that game, he's like, "Can we just like leave?" I was like, "I think that my one of my sons has texted me about. Can we just like?" And I'm like, "Fine," because even though it was not exciting, it was barely interesting. It still was like, there are Packers on the field in Cincinnati where I live, and this is
Yeah.
cool. Like, even though it wasn't the
Yeah.
most like exceptional on-field product at that moment, you know. So
Yes.
yeah, no, I would never leave. And in fact, you know, for me, it's the opposite logic, Don. It's like, all right, let's just hang around the stadium and like take our time getting out of here and like try to get some food before we get in our cars and like just let the
Right.
traffic do a little bit
And
of
then
clearing. I mean, it's gonna take a while, but you know, still.
Yeah, and then you just kind of mosey on out on your own pace. Like, it was the
Mhm.
last thing on my mind, win or lose. And we almost lost that game. We didn't win until the last second, so we would have missed that
Yeah,
if we were those kind of
that's
people
true.
who would leave in when there's 3/4 of the game like only 1/4
Yeah.
left or whatever. Yeah.
That was
So
because that's a fourth
it
quarter
was.
comeback,
It
and it
was.
was the Saints missing the field goal at the end that gave us the win. So yeah,
That's right. And we didn't block it either. And we could have. And I just want to see some blocks. I don't care anything.
wow,
Like, I'm like
for blocks.
over the running backs and the returns. It's like,
Mhm.
just block a field goal, okay? Because obviously it's not that hard if the Cowboys can do it. And the Browns are good defense, but you know what
Browns
I'm
actually
saying?
defense. Yeah, totally.
I'm just all right, Maddie. So let's get started on our
Oh yeah,
superlatives.
superlatives. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We even played the thing and everything. All right, my first superlative down. I have 4 tonight. Okay, so my first one is best explanation. So.
Mhm.
You know, we see various charts, visualizations of data, you know,
Mhm.
on our social media constantly, because one of the beautiful things about sports is that there's room for everybody, including people who are huge data nerds, right? And that enriches our understanding of it in a lot of ways that are hard to even, you know, calculate, I guess, if you will, since we're talking about data. And there was a chart I was seeing going around, and shoot, I had it up before, but I had to close some tabs because my internet was being goofy. But basically, it was a visualization of like when passes are expected, how are quarterbacks performing, and the chart showed that Jordan Love was like way ahead of most quarterbacks, and it was like kind of like a bar graph going down to like the middle point and then kind of going back, you know, into like negative territory basically. And it's
Mhm.
one of those things where you go like, oh, cool, Jordan Love's on top. That's awesome. Yay, go Pack go. But you're like, wait, what is this
Wait.
showing me? I don't quite get it. And I saw this particular like data visualization in like 3 or 4 different places, you know, across both Twitter and Blue Sky. And then here is again the superlative is best explanation, because our guy Bill Huber, writing for SI.com, wrote this article. When expected to pass, Jordan Love defies expectation. Some analytical numbers show just how effective Packers quarterback Jordan Love has been this season. And so what he did is he took that thing, which by the way is by Sam Hoppen, who works for
Okay.
ESPN Analytics. Follow Sam Hoppen. I was digging into his feed, his page, his profile page, right? And the mountains of awesome graphs and data and stuff like that is there. I was like, wow, it was like Nerd City. This is amazing.
Totally fun graph. Okay, and that's SAMHOPPEN. Hoppin, not Hoppin like HOPPIN.
Hoppen. Sam Hoppen. And yeah, so first of all, follow Sam. But so what Bill did was, you know, data can tell all kinds of stories, right? What is the story we can glean from this? So a whole article from Bill Huber breaking down what this chart was saying, what you can understand from it, why it's, you know, showing that Jordan Love has taken, you know, more than one step forward in the way that like we're hoping to see it. We've been hoping to see him do, right? This is like this, you know, data point is a clear sign that basically Jordan Love is like, you know, becoming the amazing quarterback that he has the potential to be. And you know, seeing the chart, you know, seeing the graph was cool, but then hearing like what goes into it made it even more awesome. So that's kind of like a shout out to both Bill and to Sam Hoppin at the same point. It's amazing.
I like it. I like it. It's a double superlative,
Okay.
2 for 1. I would check that out. I have a graph. It's not on this superlative, but it's on there. I do have a graph. I'm so proud of
Yeah, I'm
myself.
looking at it. It's a show doc. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's for us. Anyway, most special. I mentioned this earlier when Justice was on the show. So this goes to Tom Silverstein or Stein, whatever.
Wish I could
Vet,
remember, honestly.
vets defend. I think both are correct. Vets defend coach show willingness to help special teams. Did you read this?
No. Tell me
Okay.
more.
Yeah, so he writes for the Packers News.com. You know, this is the Milwaukee Sentinel Journal website, I guess, that he writes for. And he talked to some vets, and he says that Rich Bisaccia wants veterans to play more snaps for him in special teams, and that the veterans are also willing to do whatever it takes to win. So and there's a lot more to this than that. But whoops, and I just clicked off of it. Sorry. And when that happens, there's all these little clicky things on here, and I don't know why I can't get the article right now. Because I'm not signed up. I'm not signed on with my journal subscription, so now I can't read it. But get to it. It's Green Bay Packers veterans willing to help out to improve woeful special teams. The special teams really are woeful. It's not in our heads, and we'll get to that in my next superlative. And I think that Justice really confirmed that too, and many people over the last couple of weeks. But so it comes down to Matt LaFleur deciding, is he willing to let the vets play? And I do think Justice mentioned this too when he was talking about it, because ultimately it's not the players. It's not that they can't do the job. Sure, there's limitations on how much they could practice, but every team is dealing with those limitations. So that's equal. That's not just the Packers. It's not that the Packers are like, we're not practicing it because we're going to do something else. There's literally only like one day of practice that they can do this. So it really does come down to the coach pulling that plug. And it's a great article, and he goes into more detail than that. And I'm not going to read the whole article to you anyway, so check it out. I forgot what I gave it. Most special, because it's special teams, to Tom Silverstein.
Did you do that? There you go. Yeah, that's one of those where like his stuff is behind a paywall, and I'll admit that I never did, pony up for that. I should, because his stuff and Ryan Wood's stuff, which I think is both there. And while I'm at it, our friend J.R. Radcliffe as well.
Yes.
Their stuff's all there. And these are three people whose perspectives and opinions I enjoy. So
it's very inexpensive.
Right.
It's it's not like it'd
be worth it. To read Spoon's stuff. Worth a couple bucks a month, whatever, I suppose. So
yes,
I think I should do that, Don, just for checking that one out, because that sounds like a really interesting article.
Well, and on my true crime show, I'm always reminding people, because it's the local reporters and oftentimes the local news stations that are giving us video clips and live streams and interviews that we can further discuss and analyze on our shows. So I'm always subscribing to local channels for true crime as well. But for Milwaukee and for Wisconsin sports, you have to be subscribing to all those YouTube channels. And if you can't subscribe to the websites where you can get the articles, you can at least subscribe to the YouTube channels, which are free. And Tom does discuss this on some of the shows, but not to it's nice, like sometimes to get that format, just like Justice was saying, sometimes you want to read something, and you can absorb it better sometimes you're not in the mood to read. You don't want to, but whatever. This article is one that should be read from start to finish.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Don, because, of the 4 superlatives I'm talking about tonight, 3 of them are articles or some sort of written format. So
right.
It helps me to absorb it. Definitely.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's content creation too. It's just not video. It's just not a podcast. Yeah. The written word. What do you have next, Maddie?
My second one is best analysis. So we've said before, I'll say it again, Don, that there are weeks where it would be easy to just like, I've got 2 superlatives. I need a third one. I don't know. What did Andy do? What did Dusty do? Let's go to like some like reliable, content creators. So every week we could say Andy or Dusty or a handful of other people. We could. So I try to avoid using them frequently. But Don, this week I had to go to the Dusty Well because that sounds like something different. The Dusty Well, because he has a Substack, which people, if you're not subscribed to Dusty's Substack, you're missing some really, really great stuff. And so what he did, kind of during the bye week, few days back, I think it was maybe, I don't know. I want to say Sunday or something, whatever. It doesn't matter what. Recently, in the last week, he did a post that was my favorite week 4 passing touchdowns, including examples. And it included examples of stock and release, mini pinwheel, fake pitch, and mesh traffic. Several examples of each. Now, Don, if I had heard me saying those things out loud, before I read that, I'd be like, "What is this guy talking about? What is this technical nonsense jargon? Mini pinwheel?" But because I read the stuff that Dusty wrote and the examples he provided, the video clips, I now could explain it to you if we had the time, what these things are. And the fact that we have someone like Dusty out there, spending his time to make stuff that's going to make the rest of us like smarter football fans. Like, Dusty, we love you, man. That's what it is. We love you. And I've told him myself, straight on, like, I am definitely a much smarter football fan because of the work he's done. And I think for Dusty, that's one of the highest compliments you can pay him. So, if you're hearing this, folks, anybody, if you've enjoyed Dusty's stuff, tell him that you are a smarter football fan.
Yeah, let him know. Let Dusty know. The cool thing about his Substack is that when you sign up, you'll get like an email notification. So if you miss the tweet or the skis or whatever you're doing, you'll have it in your email box to reminder. Because I got that. I haven't had a chance to, but you can like bookmark like emails and stuff or whatever you do. So I haven't seen it yet. I've had an incredibly busy couple of weeks. So just hoping after this week, I will have all my things done that I'm in the middle of. So I didn't get to, I consumed a fair amount. I shouldn't say I didn't get to do if somebody saw how much content I consume about football, they'd be like, yeah, I don't think you need to worry about it. You consume.
Done. I feel like you're kind of like trying to like make excuses, but like the thing is, there's so much stuff out there. Like that's what our show's about. Yeah. That's what our show's all about. Is because there's so much stuff to help people find the stuff, So I think no apologies needed about not getting to something.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why we're here. Exactly. Thanks for reminding me about that. I'm gonna now for sure have to go back. Okay, so my next one is best stat, and I just had so much curiosity. Like one of the questions, I consumed everything I could. I understand that special teams don't get practice. I understand that they don't. We talked about this last week. They don't get, people drafted just aside from the kicker and the punter and the long slapper. I love that. We need a long slapper. The snapper. We don't get like a running back just for returns. We don't just get a gunner. I mean, it's very rare. Back in the day, there might have been a team that did that, but I looked it up again and again, and it's like, no, teams just don't do that. There's just not enough positions. Anywho, so then I started asking and so I understand about the coaching and Bisaccia, and do we want to use, and because I was one of the first people out there, like when who was it last year or a couple of years ago when they were using one of our young receivers? Might have been, I can't remember who it was, as a returner. And I'm like, get him off the field. He's going to get killed out there. Right. So it's like a double, and that's what the coaches feel too. We don't want them hurt because this led me to the question. So just how much more dangerous is it to play on special teams than on your regular position?
Okay.
And right, I didn't really find an exact comparison. I need to keep searching, but what I did find was this thing that I mentioned earlier about back in 2022, there was a season that had an extraordinarily high number of serious injuries that happened in special teams, and the NFL said, okay, we're going to take a look at it. And so what did the NFL say? Because you know how that is, right? This is the language. This is an elevated risk that has led to the NFL initiating a call to action, considering new rule changes, which did happen, and training requirements, which I don't think happened, to improve safety on these plays. And that's my point. So the NFL made a significant call to action after a spike in injuries. Possible solutions included discussing new rule changes and mandatory training requirements to improve player safety on these plays, according to UB Law Sports Forum. As you know, I love the law sites. So I'm like, mandatory training? When? How? Why are we not hearing about that? I thought we don't have training. So, sure, if it's just looking at film and having discussions on Zoom or whatever and sitting around in a room, but that's not quite the same. I'm not sure there was much that came out of the mandatory training, but there were some rule changes, as we know. So that was the most recent, biggest thing that I could find. And then because of that, there were some stats that came out about player safety on special teams. And so that's the little graph that you can see, Maddie. And if anybody wants this graph, I'd be more than happy to share it with you. But the injury rate in the NFL varies significantly by position, of course. But according to this study published in Journal of Sports Medicine, the following are the injury rates per 1,000 team plays. Wide receivers, the highest, 30.28. And then tight ends, and then defensive backs, and then running backs. I know, a wide receiver, that kind of scared me. And then linebackers, O-line, defensive linemen, and then kicker punters, it's the lowest. So the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the defensive backs have the highest injury rates. And those are the ones that are already going to be used. They're going to be used in special teams too. Right. So, but the O-line and the D-line have lower injury rates. So you just got to wonder, but they are more likely to sustain concussions, which is like the worst injury. So it's kind of like, oh, anyway. There are studies about it. It is more dangerous, 100%. It's not like a figment of our imagination. I never really knew. I just gut feeling was like, get them out of there. Don't put our good players in. But of course, put somebody in there who's competent and train them.
And train them.
So it doesn't sound like that's what's happening. But like I said, worst case scenario, I have really come to just be like, okay, well, like Justis said in his most recent article, it's part of the Packer way. It's part of the way they do things. It's not a glitch. It's intentional. Okay, that special teams are not going to be great. It's been 2 decades of this, so it's not going to change. But at least, could we at least block field goals? Because that could make a huge difference, and that's not quite as dangerous, right? So that's my plea. After all this, after 2 weeks of fretting over it, getting ready to like start thinking about the next game Sunday and not lose my mind over it anymore. I just beg. Could we please block a field goal? And I will feel a lot better about my team. Block a field goal.
Just block a field goal. Don, that data that you found, that's amazing. That's really fascinating. I like that a lot. I'm going to be checking out that entire. There's an article it came from, right? You said where the data came from.
Yes. The article.
Maybe?
I'm sorry, I didn't share the article. The article is called High injury rates among special teams raises concern among the NFL as league prioritizes player safety. Again, this was from University of Buffalo School of Law, so UBS
UB Law.
Law, I believe. Yeah, and or UB Law, excuse me, Sports Forum. And again, this was back in 2022. I have a feeling, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's not uncommon for, when changes are made, not maybe immediately, but then coaches are going to start realizing, hey, this is an opportunity.
Mhm.
We're not, we can't practice this. Nobody else can practice this. This is a league-wide problem. Let's exploit it. So that's why I'm saying, why aren't we exploiting it
Yeah.
as the Packers? Yeah, just exploit the fact that other teams are in the same position and even it out so that we don't have such an imbalance. Our special teams, okay, I can accept that the Packer way is to, not prioritize it, to focus on, the offense and the defense, all those things. I can accept it, but I can't accept that we can't at least do the bare minimum of that the other teams are doing.
Yeah. Here.
Because it's more like when you
so
water it all down, at least there's that.
Yeah.
We're not, instead of fire Matt, fire Rich, fire, it's like, just block a field goal. Okay. Just do that. Just do that. That's all I'm asking.
Just not lose us a game. Please don't lose us a game.
Yeah, for that. Yeah.
Ugh.
And I mean, if we would have blocked a field goal and they blocked a field goal, okay. I mean, then I'd be like, okay, we're all blocking field. Okay, we're good. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anyone's head.
Nor should you, because these people are doing the best they can. I don't think, for all the like Fire Basaccia, he's not like slacking off. I think he's doing everything he can, Could we find somebody better? Not now, not mid-season. Maybe it's discussion for the offseason, but right now, like people like Fire
it
Basaccia,
was a discussion last year too.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. I mean, let's be clear. It should have been discussed in the offseason. Instead, they gave him a raise and an extension. So there's that. But like at this point, you just gotta lean into it and hope that they make the changes they need to. I mean, because they did change who's out there on the kick protection. They got what's his face out of there. They got Elton Jenkins in there, so they did make an adjustment in game, and so that problem didn't happen a second time in that that particular game. They do make adjustments, but just don't make a decision in the first place that you need to adjust to keep it from being a problem.
Right.
Well,
okay. I'm just going to pop in a superlative. The New York Giants are winning 34-17 over the Philadelphia Eagles.
What? Go ahead. Have a day. I love that. It's amazing.
Fourth quarter. This is crazy. I bet Tom Grossi's going nuts over there on his show. I was listening for a little while earlier while trying to watch two other baseball games. All right. Okay, Maddie, what's your next one? Or your final two? I think you have two more.
Yeah. Oh, do you have any more? Mm-mm. Okay, cool. No. So two left for you here. Best article. It's hard calling this best article. There's a lot of great articles, but this just the same, Don. I'm going to say it. Best article. I'm giving this one this week to Dara Carragher, writing for Packer Report. The article is, how will the Packers plan for the same QB on a different team? Should Jeff Hafley's Packers watch Bengals film or Browns film? Both?
Oh,
this was great because, like the question itself, you're kind of like, I don't know, man. It's just Joe Flacco, whatever. But still, the coaches have to think about these things. They think how to prepare. They spend this time preparing for not Joe Flacco. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, well, we saw him already, but this is different. But wait, so Dara like grappled with this, kind of like talked through, excuse me. Here's what the Bengals were doing. Here's what Joe Flacco has been doing. Like, how are we going to see the synthesis of these two things? What sorts of factors in the offense of both these teams might the coaches look at when they're game planning? Like, what has been the similarities? What are the actual differences? Where do we find these overlaps and these disparities? And, so then Dara went into that. He wasn't just like, and that's how they should think about it. He's like, and so let's talk about what these things are. So that kind of like taking an interesting question, breaking it down, analyzing it to give some context and some ideas around it. I mean, classic Dara, really amazing stuff. Excellent article.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm grinning. AJ Dillon just fumbled,
Oh
fumbled
no.
and had the ball taken away.
Oh, the mayor of Door County. Oh man,
Sorry,
it's
sorry.
rough. Poor
I
guy.
am glad you said that because I was wondering that. Like, how do they even do this? It's a
Yeah,
challenge. And you
it
know
is.
what?
It's an unusual
I
challenge.
Right. And are we going to see another L because of it? Even though we might be the better team, it could happen. I doubt it,
No,
but
no. This is gonna be a slaughter. This is
it's
gonna
tricky.
be
Should
want to
be.
see a dead body is what this is gonna be this game. So
Well,
and besides Don, my 3 times I've been to Lambeau so far, the Packers haven't lost any of those games.
oh,
So
okay. There you
put down
go.
the money on it, right?
There you go.
All right, Don, my last superlative then.
All right.
Iowa Joe, if you're still here, this is actually about you, man. So this last week, one of the episodes on Ohana Packers Edition, which is Iowa Joe and Mike Kawano's show, they had Rob Demovsky on the show. And it was so
Yes.
cool because, every time you get to hear from an actual beat reporter, it's a totally different perspective than you get from like a fan, somebody who actually like likes the team. It's like with, Matt Steinman's a good example. He's talked a lot about, look, I cover the team. I care about the team in that regard, but I'm not a fan of the team. I'm just here to write about it. And so I want storylines. I don't like if it's a great win, that's a good story. If it's a huge loss, that's a great story. Either way, so he's not here to like cheer on the team. He's just here to like tell us about it. So that perspective versus like your kind of fan stuff, is awesome. I love to hear that. And so Joe, glad you're still here, man. Joe said, woohoo. Yeah, Rob was great. Thanks, Matt. You're welcome. Thank you guys for getting him on the show to talk to him. That was a good get. And that was a great episode. Good job, guys.
I like it. And since you're speaking of Iowa Joe and Ohana Packers and the Oak Network, check out Joe's designs because he's been working really hard on some new merch. Yes, check it out. He's got
Talented
some new
dude.
merch. Yep. He's got a lot of decisions to make because he's extremely creative and artistic. And I suggested that he put like 3 designs for people to choose from, do ABC or something like that, and let the public decide what they like the best because Joe's very creative guy. So
Can I admit something that's really dumb for a second here of me? So I was thinking, okay, so my wife was in Hawaii recently, right? So I reached out to Mike and I was like, hey, what are some things to do? Because Joe was like, Mike lives in Honolulu. And I was like, wait, Honolulu? That's on Oahu. I thought he lived on Ohana. And my family was like, yeah, you saw Lilo and Stitch. Ohana means family. It's not an island, you ding dong. And so that was when I realized, like, yeah, I was thinking the wrong thing entirely. It's not this island, it's family Packers Edition, Ohana. So
right.
Quick admission there of me being a ding dong about
hey,
a couple of Hawaiian concepts.
Yes. It's so great. I love the Hawaiian culture. I learned so much from a Hawaiian friend who worked with me. I used to work. I had to go there for work. It's just awful. We never got anything done. We would just goof around. It was so fun. But one of my team members that I would always bring in was from Hawaii. So I learned so much. I don't know what I learned because I don't remember anything anymore, but it was just a great cultural experience and going to the local traditional type farmers market type places and getting all the special foods that you wouldn't normally get. Yeah, it's great. I hope your wife had a great time there.
She did. Yeah, a lot of good stories, a lot of good pictures. So yeah,
it's beautiful. There's lots of islands, but Honolulu's fun. Honolulu's the greatest place to go to learn how to surf and not get killed because there's a little area there where you can be safe surfing. So, all right, Maddie, any final thoughts before we bring her home? We've had a long podcast tonight, but I think it's been full of great content for people to hopefully learn from and go to if you haven't checked it out and feel better about your team and feel better about the people who are trying to play and coach, but also to provide content for you.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of blessings.
It's an embarrassment of riches, frankly. So I would say just some final thoughts. One, again, thanks, Justis Mosqueda, for joining us. Been a huge fan for a long
Yes.
time. And sorry, you can follow him on various platforms. JUMOSQ, Justis Mosqueda. He's I'm just gonna say it, like one of the smartest folks writing about the Packers out there, and really value his contributions. So it's cool talking to him. And since I'll be up at the game this weekend, if anybody else is going to be around and wants to hit me up so we can say hey at some point, I would love that.
Yes,
it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun game.
Yes, and so I was actually thinking you were leaving. I was going to ask you, are we going to do our show tonight? Because I wasn't sure when you were leaving. So you'll be back in time to do our show next week.
Of course, yeah.
So you can tell us all about it.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right. That's fantastic, Maddie. All right. Well, yes. And I think Justis is just like super down to earth. It was fun to get to know a little bit more about him personally.
Yes.
Speaking of Ohana, I love how much he loves his family, his grandparents. That's just heartwarming and not surprising at all. And I just think that the quality of his work shows that that's just what he's into, and when we do what we're into, it shows. It's not an effort, and like he said, no matter how much he worked, he didn't feel like a job. And that's what I did when I worked in design. I worked a ton. I worked very hard, but I had fun. Like, it wasn't, oh, I gotta go to work, it was great. I was like, oh, what do I get to do today? It was a lot, but it was still exciting and fun. So yeah, anybody who's out there, do it. Follow your dreams.
That's how I feel about my job too. Just as a side note here real fast now before we sign off, is right now my job is using data to inform how we use our resources to help the students who are the most in need of help and most can be receptive to and be helped by that help, if that makes sense. Like, that's my job. I'm helping people with data. Like, it's awesome. It doesn't feel like work at all. I'll be like I'll be like working away on a spreadsheet for like 2 hours, and I'm like, I look up and it's like, whoa, I thought like 10 minutes went by. I've been like in this thing, like just like, immersed in it, in the flow state in Excel for a couple hours. So yeah, no, absolutely.
Excel can do that. It can do that. Just as much as like, for me, I can do that, but I can also do like painting and artistic things too that way. So it's nice to have those outlets. It really is.
It really is. All right. Well done. Had a lot of fun. I'm going to bring it home. Here we go.
All right.
Friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, please subscribe to our podcast. You help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod, and we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.
Okay, nighty night.